Hi guys, so since in Molly's favorites video I mentioned about breastfeeding a little bit, and since she's currently is breastfeeding right now, I said I might as well just make a breastfeeding video. So if you are opposed to breastfeeding or have negative views on breastfeeding or the way I'm doing it, I respectfully ask that you don't leave negative comments. I understand everyone has their own choices. I do not judge anyone if they choose to breastfeed, if they choose not to breastfeed, how long, if you're formula fed, why you chose anything that you chose. I am pro mom. I'm not pro bashing other people for their choices. There's many reasons why someone may or may not do the type of breastfeeding or formula or whatever. There's reasons why, for everything in life, there's reasons why people do things, and because somebody doesn't do something the same as you or the way you would do it doesn't make them wrong. And there's always more than one way to do something, so I like to keep that in mind when talking to other moms. There's different things for everything, so please don't bash or whatever. Okay, so our breastfeeding story began obviously when Molly was born. Sorry, my hair is like messy. She was brushing it. Anyway, so Molly was born on May 25th, 2013. I was in labor for a little over 28 hours, 29 hours. She was born at 9, a little after 9 in the morning, and I was so just, it wasn't like what I thought it would be. She came right out and it was just like, oh my god, she's here. I didn't cry. I was just like, happy birthday. And it just, I don't know. And it was just natural for me to just leave her on my chest and to just, I saw other videos of babies that naturally just go, and she did. She wanted it. She could like smell me or whatever it was, but I just like didn't know what to do. I was just like, I didn't know how to hold my hands. I didn't know, anything. And I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of other YouTube mom videos, which actually inspired me to make my videos. So it just was rough for me in the beginning, and she always cried. She never wanted to be put down. I didn't know if I was doing it right. I didn't know if she was getting enough. My pump that you get with your free from your health insurance didn't come until 3 months later. So I just had a very hard time, and I wanted to give up every single day. So what I decided was, sorry, she's kicking everything. I'm gonna set goals for myself. I'm gonna set small goals. Like normally I always set like, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds, and that never works. You have to set small goals. So my goal was, I'm gonna do it for 2 more days. I made it past the 2 more days. I'm gonna do it up until 3 weeks. I made it past the 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, let me try it until 3 months. And I did. And now she's 19 months and she's still breastfeeding. It's typically just to go to sleep, and she does comfort nurse. I am trying to find ways to maybe wean her. I go back and forth. Do I want to wean her? Do I want to, let her self-wean or whatever? Hi. Hi, is that Doc? Oh. So yeah, so I'm happy that I went and made those goals for myself. And I still, to this day, there's rough days. It's not easy to breastfeed. It's probably much easier to just give up and do formula. But I didn't want to do that. I've done that a lot. Like, you just give up and go the easy way. But I was, I wanted to do it right for her, for what I thought was right for her. So yeah, so going back to, I made it 3 weeks, 3 months. But the beginning, she wasn't sleeping and I wasn't sleeping. So I was crying and I didn't know why. Like I couldn't stop crying. Molly, you just spilled yogurt. even my husband, he like, we'd just be sitting there and I would just start to cry and cry and cry, and he'd be like, what's wrong? And I don't know. So he actually called my OB, and they had him bring me in, and I had to take like a little like evaluation of like if I felt like I wanted to kill myself, if I felt like I wanted to harm others, things like that, which I didn't. Everything made me cry. She smiled, I cried. She pooped, I cried. She actually slept, I cried. Like everything, like anything could set me off. So I had to like talk to like a therapist and see if I had postpartum, which I didn't. I think I just needed to talk to someone, and someone outside of my inner circle to tell me that I was doing an okay job, and that it was okay to, make a mistake or whatever. So after I talked to someone, it was like it made a switch go off, and I was fine. I didn't cry anymore. I was fine. All of a sudden, I was confident. I felt like I was like super mom, and if someone else asked me for advice, like I'd get so excited and be like, yeah, that happened to me too, So I'd get so excited when other people would ask me for advice. It made me feel good to know that I could help other people the way that I wanted to be helped. Let them know that I went through the same thing, and not to stress, even though you're still going to stress even when someone tells you that. But it is a little bit more comforting to know you're not the only one going through things. So, because I didn't have any breastfeeding support, not that I didn't have it, people respected my decision to do it. My husband was very there for me, helping me, put her on, or he'd like to, see what I was doing. And he didn't really have that, he felt like he was missing out by feeding. He was very, proud of my decision, and, he just really supported me, more than ever in our relationship. He's very supportive, but I just didn't expect him to be so, pro and you can do it, and he's just really great for me. He was the best support that I could ask for. My mom supported my decision, his mom supported my decision, but they did not breastfeed us or their other children, so they didn't have encouraging words for me, because they didn't know if I was doing it right. They didn't know what to tell me, which I understand, and I don't, when I say I don't have support, I don't want you to think I'm saying it in a negative way. They just didn't know either. So they are actually supportive and learning with me, but they couldn't necessarily help me, is what I mean. So, yeah, so about 3 months old, she would just want it more than ever, constantly feeding, and then all of a sudden she just throw up, and it was coming, it seemed like it was coming out of her nose, out of her ears, and I'm like, oh my god, what did I do? Did I give her too much or whatever? So it turned out she actually had reflux. So we had to, I believe she was actually 2 months old, if I remember correct. We took her to the doctor, and of course I googled everything, and I was right. She did have it, because they give the little, I want to say it's polio, the little drink, as part of a vaccine, and she just, I could see it coming back up, and I'm like, see, it's coming, and I picked her up, and she puked all over me, and I was afraid she was gonna choke, so I just picked her up and let her puke on me. And yeah, so he was like, you're right, and he's like, I just needed to see it, and he's like, that's definitely reflux, and whatever. So he was like, well, since you're not doing bottles, you could put a little cereal in there. And then I was like, so I put my breast milk in a bowl and I put the smallest amount of cereal, because I was afraid. She was almost 3 months, and she didn't like it anyways. But so, because that will help absorb and help keep things down, I guess. But she didn't like it, so I just did the best I could. And then we realized that it was actually the vitamins that you have to give. I don't know if it's all babies or just breastfed babies. They give you a tri-vitamin, I believe it's called. those were making her throw up. So we actually discontinued her vitamins for a little while, and he said just to bring her out into the sun for a little bit to get some extra vitamin D, or I don't know. So that was that. And then around 4 months, I know some people don't believe in, giving baby food before 6 months, but our doctor actually said 4 months was okay. So that's when we started giving her baby food. So we did a mix of making our own and the Jad ones, and she only liked certain ones. She didn't do them for that long, but once she started on solids, we never saw another sign of reflux from her. She hardly ever throws up anymore unless she's like wicked sick. So that did help, and in that way I am glad that I didn't like go super blog crazy and following what all the people said, like food before 1 is just for fun. No, like it helped us, and whether you agree or you don't agree, it helped our kid, and she was not in pain and she was not throwing up anymore. And look at her, she's so beautiful and she's perfectly healthy, and it worked for us. And like I said, it might not work for you. You may not decide to do that, and that's totally your prerogative, and I'm not going to judge you for it. So yeah, I feel like I'm being repetitive because I did do this on my blog already, but I just wanted to update, my story for people who don't know. And she's a lot older now from my first update. You don't want to be up on me? Okay. So yeah, so getting back to that, so we did start solids early for most people, and she's doing good. She's not overweight, she's not underweight, she's perfectly fine. So I just want to backtrack just a little bit because I know I touched on how my pump came late. So the company made a mistake. Long story short, it got sent to somebody else, and then by the time they got it to me, Molly was already 3 months old. So I never got into a good pumping routine, and by then Molly didn't know what a bottle was. So I did try like hand expression. It wasn't for me. And I did try like the Medela manual pump. So I mean, I just didn't like it, and so I just, in my head, I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate the pump anyways. But I actually, the pump advanced, it actually is great, and I loved it for when I did use it. But by the time I was able to use it, like I said, she didn't know what a bottle was, so she's never taken a bottle. She's gone straight to a straw in a regular cup. So yeah, I mean, I guess she skipped that. So skipping over the bottle did make it harder on me. Or, if I ever needed to leave her with someone, I could never leave for long. In the beginning, now it's fine. I can leave her 2, 3, 4, hours. I don't usually. Hi. She's so hyper today. So that did make it hard and stressful, and, I had no choice but to breastfeed in public. Me personally, I do like to cover up when I'm outside. It's just like a modesty thing for me. But we did take her to like Philadelphia on a double-decker tour bus. I breastfed right up on the top deck, and nobody stared. Nobody really, nobody really cared. I've never experienced that actually, where people have looked at me or wondered what I was doing or said rude things to me. I've never experienced that, so I feel bad for people who do talk about how, they've experienced that or they've been asked to cover. I don't think you need to cover. I just personally do. When I'm around my family and stuff, I don't. Depending, I mean, and I am more of like, I don't feel uncomfortable, but if I always say to somebody, does it bother you? And then I will go in another room or put a blanket or something. But if it doesn't bother them, then it doesn't bother me, so I just do it. And it doesn't bother Molly either way, because she wants to get what she wants. So that's what we do. like I said, she's 19 months old, so I definitely surpassed my goal. I I gotta backtrack again. We did supplement with formula a little bit. Actually, in the hospital, they had me do that. So for the first 3 weeks of our breastfeeding journey, we did supplement maybe once a week, but the pediatrician said that doesn't really count because you're barely giving it to her. It just was one of those things where I was like, what do I do? I don't know. Does she want it? Does she want it? So I would try to give her the formula, but she, like I said, she never took to a bottle. She never took to formula. And I sometimes wonder if that maybe had something to do with her reflux, why all of a sudden it started happening, and was it from the mix of the formula? I don't know. We are currently still breastfeeding. Like I said, she's 19 months old. She turned 19 months on Christmas, and she's about 23 pounds. She's 33.5 inches, and when she was born, she was 7 pounds, ½ ounce, and 20 inches long. So she's growing. She's on the taller side, but petite, like slender. So we'll just see how that goes. The doctor's not worried. I always get worried about her weight because I always tell people don't compare other babies, but every once in a while, I fall into that. Well, this baby's the same age and she's 5 pounds bigger, or every baby's different. So I always try to tell myself that. So, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, breastfeeding is breastfeeding. I'm sure everybody's journey is different. Yeah, so whether it be comfort nursing, pumping, formula, whether you did breastfeeding, didn't work out, you went to formula. Whether you couldn't breastfeed, there's people who can't, or they don't make enough, or whatever it is. Why do you care? Why do you need to bash someone and make them feel probably worse than they already felt guilty inside? I know I feel guilty sometimes, and am I feeding her enough? Should I be giving her more? She's 19 months now. Should I be stopping? There's all different reasoning behind it. So think before you say something to make someone else feel worse. You don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know how their day was going, and you could just make somebody feel really, really shitty. Sorry for my language, but yeah, and now I'm just getting like rambly, so I just had to put that out there. And I still have my trusty boppy right here, and yeah, so, and I do just want to shout out to all the YouTube moms who do breastfeed, because you were, without knowing it, part of my support system, and I watched your videos and saw your maybe struggles and different things like that, and it helped me more than you will ever know. You probably won't even see this, but like, if you are someone watching this video and you have your own breastfeeding experience, story, whatever, tell me about it. I like to hear other moms' stories. I have a friend who exclusively pumped. I have a cousin who pumped and breast. I have plenty of friends who've done formula. I have plenty of friends have done, I'm only going to breastfeed for the first 3 weeks, and that's all they did. So I would love to hear your stories and connect with you that way. So comment down below and share your stories with me. I love to hear. It doesn't have to be about breastfeeding, anything. Your labor, your delivery, anything like that. If you'd like to know my labor and delivery story, or like a draw my life type of deal, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to do that too. And if you like these updates, from now, it's January, obviously, so Happy New Year. I'm working on Molly's 2nd birthday. I know it's not till May, but I'm very, like, ahead of the game when it comes to that. Just collecting ideas and, whatever I'm going to do, like, Pinterest overload is what I do. So, if you follow me on Pinterest, you'll see some of my ideas, and also some of the crafts that I do. So I want to try to do craft videos, swap videos, whatever you want to see, just let me know. So Happy New Year. Again, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if you like it. And share your stories with me. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you all. So, Molly, you want to say bye-bye? Say bye. Say bye-bye. Can you blow kiss? Blow kiss. Good job. Bye. Yeah. Ah. Oh.